Are you streaming from a laptop or a MacBook Pro? Are you having issues with keeping up with chat and other streaming elements? Well, then this video's for you. Stay tuned. Welcome to Live Streaming Tech, and if you want to learn to stream like a pro, make sure you click that subscribe button and turn that bell notification to on. In this video, Dale and Kelly were having issues when Kelly would stream from her MacBook Pro. That 13-inch monitor just wasn't cutting it, so they needed a second monitor. Nothing below 20 inches would cut it. So they went out and purchased two monitors, an AOC and an Asus. But they only kept one. Find out why. But first, the question of the day is, what do you stream with, PC or Mac? Leave them in the comments below.
One of the things I'd noticed my wife doing over the past year or so, when she's live streaming on YouTube, she's having to really work with everything on her 13-inch screen. And I thought to myself, geez, there's got to be a better way of things. And naturally, she wants to keep things as simple as possible. And if you're the same way, then this solution could possibly be for you. Now, I'm going to be sharing some of the stuff that works for a MacBook Pro, but if you're using a laptop in general, you should be able to use some of these suggestions. So the story starts out right about Christmas time this past year, and this was when I was wanting to kind of surprise her, but I ended up just going ahead and sharing it with her anyways. We went and looked at Micro Center at some 27-inch options. I wanted to make sure it was large enough that it would hopefully eclipse the size of her MacBook Pro desktop, and also get it to where she could either manage her video on the large screen and her chat in the small screen, or vice versa. It would just give her a couple of different places she could work from. Now, with that being said, if you're going to be streaming from a laptop, you're going to need a couple of things and keep a few things in mind. Having a large screen is all well and good, but you want to make sure that it's going to be manageable, because if you're working from a small space, you don't need to have a gigantic 80-inch monitor with 4K resolution. So we just needed to kind of keep things really, really simple. Anything above 20 inches, but possibly below 30 inches. That's why we kind of settled on 27, because she got to see mine and was pretty happy with that size. The next thing is we want to make sure that a stand is adjustable. I don't want to have to put my monitor on top of a box or try to jerry-rig it into place, so that way I could set my MacBook up and have it placed up above it. So we needed to make sure that it could be able to go up and down as well as tilt. HDMI is absolutely important. To me, I think that this is the day and age that HDMI, if you've got it, that's awesome. If you don't, you're at a bit of a disadvantage. And last but not least, because it is MacBook Pro, we're going to have to use an adapter that's going to be Thunderbolt to HDMI. As some of you are pretty aware, Apple has pretty much shackled a lot of their users to just one port, and that's the Thunderbolt one. So I make it no secret, I am not the tech expert here. I just try to go over to the pros for the resources. I've talked to my brother in most instances and get some recommendations from him. And based on some of the recommendations that he gave for my needs, I went ahead and tried to apply those to my wife's needs. We went over to Micro Center and looked to see what kind of deals they had. I wanted to ideally get her the same monitor that I have, which is an AOC 27-inch, but apparently it's no longer in stock. But they felt like they found a suitable replacement. And the problem that I saw with the box, because there was nothing on the floor that I was able to see in person there, I said, well, is this an adjustable stand? And this guy, oh, well, yeah, it appears to be adjustable. It says it's adjustable. And this guy swore up and down it was adjustable. A little bit of foreshadowing here, folks. So I went ahead and grabbed it, and it was for a little less than $200 to my recollection. With taxes and everything else added in, it ends up being a little bit north of $200, especially when I ended up getting the adapter, which was a Thunderbolt 3 to HDMI 4K 60 hertz cable. So I wanted to make sure that we got a really good cable. That way, if for some reason at some point she wanted to upgrade her monitor, that she wouldn't have to go and get an additional cord. So this was about $40 when it was all said and done. So the total ticket was $231.08. I know, seems like quite a bit, but to me, I think that this will help her with her workflow, and she's enjoyed the monitor thus far that she had. But it's not the AOC 27-inch monitor. We ended up opening up the package. Everything was pretty good, and we were able to get it on out, could screw in the base, super, super simple. And as soon as I had set it up, put it in place, I saw that all it did was tilt. And that's a big no-go for me. And thankfully, Micro Center has a great return policy. I was able to put it right back in the box. The very next day, I went on over to Micro Center and I said, look, we need to resolve this issue. I would like to get a credit towards another monitor. So we went on the floor and we were able to get somebody that was a little bit more knowledgeable and directed us towards the Asus. And Asus had a 27-inch monitor. It was a bit more expensive, but it had an adjustable stand. And that right there was all I needed to hear. It had 144 hertz frame rate. So this means that this is going to be less strain on our eyes, and we're able to kind of work from that. So let's take a look at the actual unboxing and let's get right behind the dash here. It should be noted that before we do open this Asus box that it ran a total of $327.95, and that's with the exchange of the $231.08 credit. So it worked out obviously about $100 more than the other one. However, this is just a superior quality monitor, and in fact I find that I'm sometimes jealous of my wife's awesome monitor, but nonetheless it was super simple. Just getting the base, just plugging on in, and just twist and put it right in the spot. So this is really dead simple, which is perfect for me. Now, I probably should have done this as a two-person job. Propping it up on my table is probably not the wisest thing to do. But you see, it does do the tilt, and it does go up and it goes down. So this is really, really nice. Something else that you can do is you got to tilt it a little bit forward if you want to go vertical with your screen. I know there's some gamers out there that prefer doing vertical. We're probably going to end up doing it the other way anyways, but thought you'd show you the option. Also, when you're getting it set up and getting some of the cables set, it might be a good idea to keep it vertical, so then you can plug in your power cord, and then you can plug in the HDMI adapter for the Thunderbolt. Now, in the event that you're not using MacBook Pro and you're just using another laptop, then you'd probably use some type of an HDMI or even VGA of some sort. And that's where we're going to go ahead and plug this end into the MacBook Pro. Open up your Mac. Now let's go ahead and plug this into the Thunderbolt. There's nothing else that you really need to know when it comes to plugging it in, because the Mac will take it from there. It'll take just a moment for it to kind of set up. And there we go, the screen comes on. Now we got to see about arranging the monitors. You're going to go into your system preferences and go into display and then arrangement, and then you can just click and drag the larger monitor on the top, the side, the bottom. It doesn't matter, wherever you wish. And you can set up all the settings in the top monitor. But it doesn't have to end there. In fact, we can show you an additional accessory that you can bring to your live streaming. It's the Elgato Stream Deck. And if you haven't heard about it yet, or you've kind of heard about it, I think it's important that you take a look at this video over here, where we're going to show you precisely all the things that are entailed with an Elgato Stream Deck and why you should use this in your next live stream. I'll see you over there. For the Elgato Stream Deck, it's going to be something I'll be utilizing in my live streams on my YouTube channel. We're going to get to see exactly what